Steve, one of the things you mentioned was a Data Practices Act policy.
Yeah, yeah, and just some background. There's been some email traffic. I got copied on some emails uh, that were uh, attempted to be sent to Terry, but they didn't ever get to him because it wasn't the right email address, and they were requesting data with regard to under the Data Practices Act with regard to the Joint Powers Board activities, and so what the law says is that if somebody, okay, this body is subject to the subject of the Data Practices Act. Okay, so we'll start there. And so, but then the law says you're supposed to have a policy that says if you get a data request and if you have data, what are you going to do with it? The Joint Powers Board does not have a policy. And so it's essentially a vacuum now. If there's any inquiries, don't know where an inquiry would go, what would happen with an inquiry, et cetera, et cetera. The other public bodies that I work with have detailed Data Practices Act policy. For example, Hermantown has one that's about 35 pages long. The Port Authority has one. Two Harbors had one that I put together. So they all had these policies. They all had somebody identified that would respond to those. And so as a result of this inquiry, it said, there should be some conversation with this board to say how you're going to deal with it. And there's you can do your own policy, and we could copy a Hermantown one or a Port Authority one, and then put that in place. But then that's going to result in having somebody being identified. And typically it's a Beth type of person to deal with data requests. Or in my mind, I was thinking that, that is it possible for, that any type of data requests that are made to the Joint Powers Board, if they could just be dealt with by the City of Ely, or and I'm probably, Commissioner McDonald probably will hit me over the head with this one, or with
no,
or by Nick Campanero and his group if there's a data request that comes in. So, or does the board want to embark on its own strategy? I have had other townships that have kind of bootstrapped themselves into using the Data Practices Act policies and procedures and staff of other cities that have that, because it's not a big deal, but it's a big deal in getting it put together. That's the problem. It's not a big deal to comply with it. Take some time, take some screwing around. Somebody's got to go through some files and stuff and dig stuff out. You got to make sure it's not confidential information, stuff like that. But it just needs to have you just have to have a process in place. And so that was what wanted to be on this agenda, is to say, what would you folks like to do? Would you like to reach out to another entity to see if they could take care of it? Or do you want to embark on your own policy, or do you want to think about it, talk with your the organizations that put you in place, and then revisit this in a month. It's totally up to you.
Yeah, what was requested and by who?
Just wanted some minutes and some stuff, some actions. So it was routine kind of inquiries, but we don't have anybody to respond to it. So
You never saw it?
I never saw it.
Can you forward us the inquiry, please, Steve?
I can. but yeah, it went to, and the email that was used to send it to Terry, and he's not, you have to have the responsible authority. And there isn't a responsible authority. So it's like that in my view, it just went into Never Never Land. Sending it to me is worthless because I'm not authorized to do anything, and I don't want to send you guys a bill for something that you don't want me to do, or